Hey guys, what's going on? Corbin from Circa 2020 back with an item related video finally. Another budget review this time. This is for the archers, the bow hunters. One of the biggest problems that we have, or one of the biggest expenses that we get per arrow, per shot per se, because every time you release an arrow while you're hunting, you never know if you're going to get that arrow back. And I know my head's not in the picture, and that's fine because I'm ugly. So one of the biggest problems that we have is illuminated Nocks or LED Nocks. Most brand name LED Nocks, you're going to spend $30 to $35, maybe $40 for 3 LED Nocks. The most popular brand out there is probably, I'll just dump these out, is probably Nocturnal. I think at your big box stores, Walmart, Dick's, those kind of places that sell archery products, you're going to spend $30 for 3. So $10 a piece for LED lighted Nocks. Now the nocturnal ones are fine. Has a nice big battery, supposedly 20 hours of runtime, has the hidden switch, and never fails to go on. I've never had an issue. I've probably shot 500 shots with a nocturnal Nock one, and I have had no problems. Nocturnal Nocks come in one color, and this one's actually on. That's funny. I think it's just barely like touching on. Yeah, okay. So it just kind of has like a natural glow. That's weird. Anyways, Nocturnal Nock. Basically, you're paying $8 to $10, maybe $12, depending where you buy them. Let's say an average of $10 per LED Nock. That's excruciatingly expensive. Some facts about, your brand name Nocks. Almost all of them are 20 grain. Almost all of them fit your typical 350 spine or 400 spine arrow. But there is a better solution. If you go on Amazon, and actually I want to carry some archery stuff on the site because I really like archery. I'm really into archery, so I would like to start carrying some stuff. So I want to be able to bring a little bit better deal, but you can buy 6 LED illuminated Nocks from this company called Jianzd, Jianzd. I'm sure it's just, a Chinese company that sells on Amazon.
Daddy, they can't see your face.
I know, it's okay. My 5-year-old came out and said they can't see. I know, we covered that. So you can get it in all the colors that they have advertised here. I opted, because this was the only one that I could get on Prime, to get this multiple RGB kind of flickering, fading LED color. Kind of cool. I'm not sure how effective it's going to be to hunt with or anything like that, but I thought it was cool. The deal though, guys, you get 6 of these, and the reason you can't see, the reason I don't have 6 more in here is because these are on my hunting bow setup right now. These are all on there. So 6 of them, $11.99 with Prime, free shipping, showed up in a day. So you're paying $2, basically $1.99.9 for 1 LED Nock. And in my opinion, that's about the price they should be. Let me tell you the differences between the 2 Nocks. We'll lay them side by side here. So the first thing, and these are just some regular Nocks that I pulled out of my Carbon Express Maxima Red 29-inch 350 spine arrows. Love those arrows. First things first, guys, you can tell the battery in the Nocturnal is a hair longer. What I find odd is the Nocturnal Nock is longer, but when both of these Nocks are installed in an arrow, the cheaper Nock is about a 1/4 inch longer, just because of the way, well, it's exactly that much longer, because right there is where they back onto the arrow. So it's about 3/16, maybe a quarter of an inch longer. I hope you guys can see that. Well, I'll hold it up for you so you can see it better. So you do have a little bit longer knock. And I think the reason that is because of the LED chip in this. The whole console is a little bit bigger than what it is in the Nocturnal. But as far as that goes, guys, I can't imagine that a quarter of an inch or so of battery is going to be another 10 hours. These say that they run for 30. Do I believe that? Not really. Do I want to sacrifice one and time it? Not really. Lighted Nocks, you know, most of the time, guys, in a hunting situation or an arrow recovery situation, the max you're looking at is really probably 2 to 5 hours at the absolute max, sometimes up to 12. I'm sure these will run for 12. So in that case, I think they check the boxes. One item where I believe these cheaper Nocks fall short. The nice part about Nocturnal, well, it's good and bad. It's actually a good thing. It's just a pain in the butt. The entire switch for Nocturnal is inside. So they have this window that's cut in the plastic. So when this gets turned on, so there your bowstring pushes against it, that's on. They have this little window where you take a knife or they make tools for it and you just push that up and it's off. This here actually has a full-blown switch on it. Now, it gets activated the same way. Sorry, there we go. Whoops. I haven't touched this one yet. Once you engage, I would recommend if you do buy these to engage them and disengage them a few times because they are fairly tight. That is one main difference there. I had to push it all the way down. They have this switch on the outside and the switch sticks out. If you push the switch up, it turns off the knock. I don't think that's a great idea to have this switch hanging out because on a pass-through shot, if this clips bone or if there's just enough drag on it, it is going to disengage the LED. So there's one way. This one's really, really tight. There. See what I mean, guys? Once you work it a few times, they loosen up. But from the factory, everything's very tight. So I would make sure you go through each one when you get it out of the box and just work it a couple times on and off, and then they should be ready to go forever. Brightness-wise, it's tough because this doesn't constantly stay on. But if you look down through, that's what you're going to see when you're looking at your shot. It's pretty similar. I would say the brightness is the Nocturnal may be a hair brighter, and I think some of that has to do with it being on all the time. But this one here is plenty bright. It just where it has its lapses in light, which now that I look at that, I'm not in love with that idea anymore. But it's still pretty cool. So one way that you can remedy this, you probably have asked yourself now a couple times, why do I have this file and why do I have this file set in my hands? Because today was the last day of archery season and I'm sitting where I sit at by my stand and I'm looking at these arrow nocks. I have an arrow nocked. Matter of fact, I have this arrow nocked ready to go in my bow. I got the Rage hypodermic deploying mechanical 100 grain broadhead, Carbon Express Maxima red arrow, and I have these in here. And I was looking at that switch, and that's when that switch really caught my eye. Like, that's probably not a good thing to have that hanging out, because if that gets turned off on a pass-through shot, that's not good. Well, the good news is the switch is just a real, you know, it's just plastic, just crap plastic. So what I did was just took my file and just went like that and filed that till just a little bit was hanging out. Just enough that you can still use the switch with your fingernail or with a tool. But I went ahead and filed the switch down And with a coarse file like this, and I wouldn't even call this coarse, but it's coarse for a small file, it doesn't take much, and you can shave all this off. Now I hear my purist micro tune archery guys out there going, whoa, what are you doing? You're shaving weight. So these were weighed. Now I haven't weighed it after I shaved it, but literally if you just do that with a file, you can knock that down to where that's a moot point anymore and it's not going to accidentally get turned off. This here was advertised to weigh 20 grains. It weighed 19.8 to 20.43, okay? I weighed 3 of these. It weighed 20.57 to 20.63. Remarkably, the difference in weight between these cheap ones was a lot less. The tolerance was much smaller in total weight versus the 3 nocturnals that I have. So what I can imagine is this, guys. Whether you're buying this or this, it's probably coming from the same exact place. I don't have my nocturnal box anymore, but I would imagine it says it's made in China. And all of this stuff is. We've been over that 100 times on this channel. And I think that Nocturnal has a specific one that they've crafted over the years, and this is what it is. So then the company just makes a different design that can't be trademarked because of the internal switch, has a little bit different battery, and different color shading or whatever, and they get away with selling it on Amazon for next to nothing. I have shot these. They shoot. I'm not a world-class archer, guys. I'm a pretty good shot. Definitely comfortable enough to take my bow in the woods. I shoot an Elite Impulse 31 that's been tuned up with a set of strings from Axis Strings, and he's had his hands on that bow a couple times, and he's going to get it back soon because we're going to Cerakote it. I have no difference. I can shoot this, I can shoot a regular knock, I can shoot the cheap knock. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it doesn't seem to make any difference whatsoever. Now, obviously, these are slightly heavier than your regular knock. If somebody wants to answer me this question in the comment section, Carbon Express has this little cap on the back. I wonder if I can pull. These are very tight. Okay, so I was able to pull it off. Let me see if I can get... They have this little aluminum ferrule that sits on the back of the arrow, and then everything goes into that. And what I was wondering is that a weight to compensate for lighted knocks? Should this still be on there? I don't know. I looked it up, but I haven't seen anything on that yet. So if anybody knows, please let me know. But again, I'm going to go ahead and every one of those switches, I'm going to file down to the point where it's not going to accidentally get turned on or turned off. I have a couple gripes about the Nocturnal, and I have a couple gripes about these, and then we'll finish this video up. Number one with the Nocturnal, if you have an arrow knocked in your bow and you catch it on your boot as you're walking, I know you probably shouldn't have your broadhead down by your boot, but it happened once where it hit the back of my boot and it turned on. I had it where it barely got hung up on a limb and kind of pulled the broadhead back and it turned on. I believe that these turn on entirely too easy. There's almost no pressure does it take to turn that on. Now this knock's probably been shot 100 times. Maybe that has something to do with it, but I know brand new, they're still very, 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 very easy to turn on. These I think are a little bit too hard to turn on. Maybe that'll get better with use, but see, like, it doesn't fully get all the connection to the battery till you really give it some pressure. Now, having shot it, it doesn't seem to make any difference. It turns on because the bows shoot really fast and there's a lot of pressure on the switch. So I don't think there's going to be an issue with it turning on or turning off, or coming on with the shot, I should say. But it's to note that I believe it is excessively difficult to turn on. And like I said, the more you use it, the better off it gets. Bottom line, even with making this video, again, if you need the company, JIANZD, Amazing Lighted Nocks. It comes in red, yellow, blue, purple, green, and 7 color, which is pretty cool. I will probably order some solid color ones next, just because I feel like that's probably a better idea for hunting, because if that fades, the shot happens so quick. If that LED decides to just turn off for just a second, you know, if it's switching between colors when it hits the animal, you might not get to see exactly where the shot hit if it was a further shot. You know, little things like that matter, especially if you've had the season that I've had. And speaking of that, I did a long deer story time with Circa 2020 talking about our archery season. If you stumbled upon this video and you're not a normal subscriber, you're not a normal watcher, subscribe, because we're always going to have a lot of hunting and a lot of archery stuff on the channel. It's just as much tactical survival prep stuff as it is, well, maybe not in the past, but since archery season's kicked off, I haven't done as many videos because I've spent a lot of my extra time in the woods. I had probably the craziest experiences week after week after week after week. And all of these stories miraculously are 100% true. Like, you couldn't even make up what happened with some of this stuff. So I have most of that video recorded. I want to talk a little bit about the end of the season and how that went down. And we have rifle season starting up. I do want to get some camera. The good news is the other half got her hunter's safety course done. She wants to get into hunting, so she may be able to come out, sit the blind in rifle season. We may be able to do some video because of that. So that's going to be awesome. Just subscribe, and if you're a subscriber, watch the video that I'm going to put up about the hunting season, because even though there won't be a ton of actual footage in it, the stories are remarkable, and everybody loves a good hunting story. So guys, again, 6 Nocks, 6 LED lighted Nocks, $11.99, shipped to your house in a day on Amazon. Normally, I'm not a huge, like, let's support Amazon and Jeff Bezos and take away from one of our, you know, industry companies that really support archery and help out and sponsor people. But the fact is, guys, if it's 30 bucks for 3 or 12 bucks for 6, you got to do what you got to do at that point. So anyways, Corbin from Circa 2020. We'll see ya.